video, we are going to study about the next special filter command, that is awk command. It is a very powerful command in Unix environment. In the last video, we have already studied about the another special filter command, that is set command. Let me give an overview about the set command. Set command means it is the stream editor that works on full streams of the text. That means if we are giving a file as input to the set command, it will be able to process each line by line from the text and it will produce the output. It won't be able to process each field of the file. Now let's see about the awk command. In the case of awk command, it will treat a file as a collection of records. That means each line will be considering as a records, each record. And a record is a collection of fields. And each line will be, or each record will be containing a collection of fields. So in the case of awk command, it will treat each file as a collection of records, whereas each record is a collection of fields. And awk command will be able to process, or it will be able to do operations on each field of data. Okay, so that is the main difference between set command and awk command. Set command will be processing data on the line by line basis, but in the case of awk command, it will be able to process on each field of the each line or each record in the file. Okay, so the awk command is named after the three authors, that is Aho, Weinberger, and Kernighan. Actually, awk is a program used for processing text and extracting data. That means awk is able to process the data and extract the data. And also, it is generally calling as it is an output formatting language. That means whatever data we are processing, we can output in a particular neat format. For that, we are using the language that is awk programming language. So awk is also a programming language on its own, which means I can use awk as a command in the terminal. Otherwise, I can use, suppose if I want to do more processing, that means advanced processing on the data on the in the file, I can use awk as a programming language. Again, I will repeat that, which means suppose I have a file containing set of data. Okay, simply if I want to print that the entire content of the file in a neat format, I can use awk as a command. Suppose if I want to add certain fields data and if I want to get average of that field data, that means it is an advanced processing of the data in the file. In that case, I can use awk as a programming language. That's why it is called awk is also a programming language on its own. Then it is used to support the general programming features such as variable functions, operations, operators, etc. That means whatever features we are using in the general programming language, all those features will be supported in the awk programming language also. So we are talking about the special filter command, that is the awk command. The main feature is it is an output formatting language. It can act as an command as well as it is a programming language on its own. Okay, the main feature is that it will be working or processing on each fields of the data in the file. So file will be considering as a collection of records and each records will be considering as a collection of fields. Awk will be processing each field and it will output in a neat format. Now let's see what is the syntax of awk command. Suppose if you are executing the awk command from the terminal, let's see what is the syntax of the awk command. Okay, so here awk is executing as a command. So this is the syntax for the awk command. So as usual, $prompt, it is indicating this is a command prompt. After that, you can issue your command. So what is the name of the command here? Awk, AWK. It is named after the three authors, Aho, Weinberger, and Kernighan. then followed by a space. After that, options. If you are using any options, you can give the options here. Usually, I told you the file will be containing each field. Okay. So what is the symbol we are using to separate each fields in the file? That symbol we can mention here. Suppose if I am using pipe operator to separate each fields in the file, I will be mentioning the option that is -F followed by the pipe operator. That means F indicate field separator and pipe indicate what is the pipe symbol is used as the field separator in the file. Then followed by search criteria and action in the single quotes. Okay. So here search criteria means we are searching a particular pattern. That pattern will be indicating by the search criteria. Then followed by within the curly braces we will give the action. If we find out that particular pattern in the file, what action we have to perform? Usually we used to print the line which is containing that pattern, or we will print the fields, the specific fields which is containing that pattern. So this search criteria and action should be within the single quotes and action should be within the curly braces. Search criteria is the pattern what we are searching for, and action, what is the action we have to perform if we see that pattern in the file. Okay, usually it is used to, the action will be print the line or print the specific fields of that line. Okay, then what is the file name? From which file we are doing this, of which file content we are doing this awk command, the file name has to be given as the last field. Okay, now we'll look at this example. I have a file F1. I have displayed the content of the file F1 using cat command. So cat space file name will display the content of the file. So here, this is the content of the file F1. 001 BCA triple A, 002 BAC triple B, 003 BBA triple C. So this is a file, I can say it contains 3 records. So each line will be considering as each record, and each record is containing 3 fields. So look into the first line, look into the first record. Again, in turn it is containing 3 fields. So the first field is 001, second field is BCA, third field is triple A. So when we consider the file F1, it is containing 3 records and each record is containing 3 fields. Okay, now I am going to give this file as input to the awk command. So awk command will be able to process or do operations on each field of the file. Now, our intention is to extract the line which is containing the pattern BBA. How can we execute this using awk command? So look at the command. The name of the command is awk. I'm not using any option here. So followed by the search criteria and action within the single quote. I told you search criteria is indicating the pattern what we are searching for. Here I am searching for the record which is containing the pattern BBA. So when we are giving the search criteria or the pattern, it has to be within the 2 forward slashes followed by the action in the 2 curly braces. So here what is the action I have mentioned? Print. So if I simply give print means what? It will print the entire record, the entire line which is containing the pattern BBA in the file F1, from the file F1. Okay, so this particular awk command will search the occurrence of the pattern BBA in the file F1. If we find out any record or line containing the pattern BBA, the print action will print the entire fields of that line or the record containing BBA pattern. Okay, so if I am simply giving print, it will display the all the fields of the record which is containing the pattern BBA. So we were discussing about the syntax of the awk command. Awk followed by options and followed by search criteria and action within the simple quotes. Search criteria is the pattern what we are searching for, and if we find that pattern, what action we have to perform, it has to be within the 2 curly braces. Usually the action is print the entire record values or the fields, individual field values. Then what is the file name? Okay, and I will show you one example also. Now suppose In this example, we have searched for the pattern BBA and I have displayed the entire uh, record or the line which is containing BBA. Suppose I don't want to display the entire line or record. I just want to get only the first field value and the third field value. How can we receive that specific field values? For that, we are using different variables here. So to display all the individual value, the Unix operating supports various variables such as $1. That means if I want to get only the first field value, I can use the variable as $1. Suppose if I want to get only the second field, I can use it as $2. Suppose if I want to get all the fields in a particular record or in a particular line, I can use $0. So, in order to access individual fields from the file, awk supports certain variables, that is $1 to fetch the only the first field value, $2 to fetch the only the second field value, $0 means it will display all the fields. That means it will contain all the field values in a particular record. Now look into the example, then it will be very clear. So I'm using the awk command, and what is the search criteria? BBA. That means I'm going to search the pattern BBA. It has to be within the 2 forward slashes. If I find that pattern BBA, what action I have to perform? I have to do the action print, and what I have to print? I have to print the variable $0 value. What will be there in the $0? $0 means in which record the pattern BBA is occurring, or in which line the pattern BBA is occurring. $0 will, or print $0 means it will display all the field values of that particular record which is containing BBA. So when we looked into the content of the F1, only the first record 001 BCA triple, only the third record 3 BBA CCC is containing the pattern BBA. So $0 means it will display all the field values. That means first field, second field, and third field value. So the output will be the entire field values of the record or the line which is containing the pattern BBA. Next, I am again searching for the pattern BBA in the file F1. If I find any record containing the pattern BBA, I want to display only the first field value of that line or the first field value of that record. So what was that line which is containing 003 BBA CC? Here, if I find that record which is containing BBA, I want to know only the first field value. For that, we can give the action as print $1. Okay. Next, again, suppose I want to search the occurrence of the pattern BBA. Now, if I find that pattern in any record, I want to display only the first field value and the third field value from that record. So we have seen this is the field, this is the record containing the pattern BBA. If I find that I want to display only the first field value and the third field value, how can we do that? We can give the action as print $1, $3. So it will display only the first field value and the third field value of the record or the line which is containing the pattern BBA. Okay, so this will allow us to extract only a particular field value from the record. Now we'll see what is the difference between print command and printf command. Why are we not using printf command here? Okay, so in the print command, it will display output in the new line. But if we are using printf instead of print, it won't display the output in the new line. So in order to get the output in the new line, we are using the command print command. Okay, so we can display the output in the new line using printf, but we have to use the escape sequence character \n along with printf. To avoid that, we are using print. It will, by default, it will produce the output in the new line. Okay, and also we can use the format specifiers like %d, %f, %s along with the print and printf command. Okay, so this is the action and the difference between print command and printf command. Now this awk command, I am going to explain the program. It is already there in your lab exercise in the part A. Okay, so this is so I'm going to explain the working of awk command with a program. Okay, so here the program is we have to create the file which is containing. We have to store the set of students details into the record, into the file. Okay, so first we have to read a set of students information and put or store those information into a specific file. Okay, so once we store the all the students information into a file, we want to output or we want to display all the students information in a neat tabular format. So for that, here, as I told you, awk is a output formatting language. So here I will be using awk command for that. So this is the program. First, it will read a set of students information and it will store those students information into a file. After that, using awk command, we will be reading each student information from the file and it will be outputting in a neat format. All students details will be outputting in a neat format. So we'll see the program now. As usual, the first statement is clear. It is used to clear the terminal and to get only this particular output on the terminal. Here, first we are asking enter the number of records. So I told you record means each line in the file. So here each line means each student's information. So first we have to know how many number of records are there in that file. That means how many number of students details we are going to enter. So the number of records or the number of students has to be stored in the variable n. Okay. Now I variable is using for the looping purpose and it is initialized to 1. And here I am using the while loop for the looping. And what is the condition? Always the looping variable value has to be less than or equal to the number of records or number of lines, or each line is representing each student information. So number of students in the file. Okay. Then do is indicating this is the starting of the do loop. Then what is the first process? Read students information and store it into a file. So what all information we are reading? First read the first students, these many information. So read the student's registration number into the variable num and read the student name into the variable name and read student age into the variable age. Read student's sex into the variable sex. Then height into the variable HP and weight into the variable WT respectively. Now the students number, name, age, sex, height and weight are available in the variable num, name, age, sex, HP, WT respectively. Now our task is to take all these data of the student and store it into the file. That is, you can give any file name. That means it has to be existing. Okay. So here I have already created the file std. Okay, blank file std. So here take those data, that is num, name, age, and store these data of the student into the file std. When you are storing these many data of the student into the file, what is your symbol you are using to separate each value? That is pipe. So in the same way, you can give the symbol here. So in the same way, it will be stored into the variable std. So here we have read the information of one student. Then like that increment the looping variable. So you will be able to read the next student these many informations. Okay. So like that, how many students information you want to read, those many students information read and store it into the file std. Okay. So here we have stored all the students information into the file std. So before starting this program, make sure that this std file is existing. Okay. Then close your while loop. So we have stored the information of the students into the file std. What is the next task? By using awk command, we have to display all the students information in a neat tabular format. Okay. So for that, this is I'm giving a heading, that is student information using echo. Then after that, I'm putting a new line using echo command. Then I'm giving the That means it is like a tabular format. So for each one, I'm giving the heading. So what is the first one? Register number. Then I'm giving a one tab space. Then name of the student. Then one tab space. Then age, sex, height, weight, like that. I'm displaying the headings for each column of the output using printf command. Then just for formatting, I have given like this using echo command. Now we are going to use the awk command for fetching the data and outputting the data. Okay, so as I told you, what was the syntax of the awk command? Name of the awk command followed by the options. Okay, here I have used the option hyphen capital letter F followed by the simple pipe operator within the double quotes, which means when you store the student's information into the file std, what symbol you have used to separate the fields. So when I store the student information into the file std, I use the symbol pipe operator. That's why F is indicating field separator. So which symbol you have used as the field separator in the input file, that is pipe operator. Then this is the option, then followed by selection criteria and action in the single quotes. Here my intention is to just print the data. I'm not searching for any pattern, so I don't have any selection criteria here. So within the single quotes, I'm not giving the selection criteria, so I don't have any selection criteria. Immediately after that, you can give the action within the two curly braces. And what is the action? Print all the students information. Okay, so for that I'm using the what action? Printf command. Okay, so printf command, and what is the data you are going to print? Give within the brackets. So within the brackets, what all fields you are going to print? You are going to print the first field, second field, third field, fourth field, fifth field, and sixth field values from the file std. And what is the first field value? First field value is the student number, registration number. So for that, I am reserving 5-digit space. So percentage 5D means 5-digit space is reserving for first field value. First field value is the student registration number. Then we put a comma. After that, print the second field. What is the second field? Second field is the student name. For the student name, I am reserving 10 character space, and I am using hyphen here. Hyphen means it has to be left aligned. That means when we are displaying the student name, it has to be left aligned. That is indicating by hyphen. And 10 means I am reserving 10 character space for the student name. Like that, for $3 field value, that is the age of the student. For that, we are reserving 3-digit space. Next, $4 variable is containing the fourth field value, that is the sex of the student. For that, I am reserving 5 character space. Then fifth variable is containing the height. For that, I am reserving 8-digit space. And the sixth field from the std file, it is containing the weight of the student, and for that I am reserving 8-digit space. So this particular command will display the 6 fields of all the students from the file std in the tabular format. Okay, so awk is the name of the command. This is the option. Here option is F, indicate field separator. When you are reading each field from the file std, which symbol you have used in the std file to separate each file, that is here we are mentioning by pipe operator. Then within the single quotes, we have the selection criteria and action. Here we are not using any pattern of selection criteria, just we are printing entire data. So the action is printf, and we are printing all the 6 fields. Excuse me. So $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, and we are using the format specifiers for that. And what is the input file we are using here? std, because when we stored all the student information, we have stored into the file std. So the command has to read the data from the file std. So that is the explanation for this program. So this program will store all the students' information into the file std, and by using awk command, we will display all the students' information in a neat tabular format. So you can see here, this is how we execute the program. So we have to read how many number of records, and here, because this is I have already executed before also, that data is also there in this output. So you can see the output here. We will store all the data into the file. From that, by using awk command, we can display in a neat output format. Okay, output can be displayed in a neat tabular format. That's why awk is calling as it is an output formatting language. Okay. Now I told you this, so far we have seen how we used awk as a command. Okay. Now suppose look into this table. I want to add the total weight of the student, and I want to find out the average weight of the students. Okay. So that means I am doing extra, or that means advanced operations on the data, right? If we want to do some advanced operations, in this program, we just whatever data stored in the file, we just displayed in the output, right? What that data we took and displayed in a tabular format. Suppose after displaying, I want to find out the total weight value, and I want to display the average of the weight value. So that means I am doing advanced steps in the data, advanced operations on the data. If we want to do advanced operations on the data of the file, we can use awk as a programming language. So this is the structure of the awk program. This is the structure of the awk program. Awk program contains three blocks: begin block, processing block, and end block. Begin block is starts with the keyword begin. It has to be in the capital letter, then followed by open curly braces and the set of statements and curly braces. Usually when we are writing a program, if we are initializing some variables, that means if we are using one count variable, we are initializing it as 0. So those initialization statements can be written in the begin block. So it starts with the begin block. The keyword is begin. It has to be in the capital letter. Whatever statements or initialization statements we are mentioning in the block, it has to be within the open and closed curly braces. Then begin block will be followed by the set of processing statements. Again, these statements will be in the open curly braces and closed curly braces. As I told you in the beginning, suppose if I want to find out the total weight of the student and I want to find the average of the student. So that calculation or that processing statements you can mention in the processing block. So here it will be containing the processing statements. Processing block will be containing processing statement. Then processing block will be followed by end block. End block is indicating with the keyword end. It has to be in the capital letter, and whatever statements we are mentioning in the end block, it has to be within the open braces and closed curly braces. Okay. So usually, suppose I told you we are calculating the total weight, and what is that value? The final result can be displayed in the end block. What the final result of the program can be displayed in the end block. So this is the structure of the awk program. Awk programming is using to do some advanced processing on the data of the file. Okay, so the structure of the awk program contains three blocks: begin block, processing block, and end block. Begin block starts with begin keyword. It has to be in capital letter, and if we want to initialize any variables, it will be included in the begin block within the two curly braces, then followed by the processing statements. If we are doing any calculations, those statements will be within the processing block, and it has to be within the open curly braces and closed curly braces. Then end block will be containing the final results of the program, and it has to be within the open curly brace and closed curly braces, and it has to start with the keyword end in the capital letters. As I told you, awk programming language will support all the features of the other programming languages like variables, looping statements, control statements, etc. Okay, so here in the awk programming language, we use two types of variables, that is predefined variables and user defined variables. First, I'll tell user defined variable. User defined variable means what? Usually, whenever we are declaring the variable, how we are declaring the variables in the normal programming language, in the same way we are defining the variable. So it can be declared without any data type. Okay. So if you are declaring any numeric data type, it will be initialized to 0. If you are declaring any string data type, it will be initialized to null values. That is the user defined variable. Usually how we declare the variables in the other programming language, in the same way, no need of any data type. Okay. Then predefined variables means there are a set of system defined variables. Okay. So those defined variables will be always represented in the capital letters. Here I have mentioned a set of predefined variables. Those are file name. If I use this variable will tell what is the name of your file. Then another predefined variable is nf. Nf means how many number of fields are there in each records or each line of the file. That is the nf variable. Nr variable will tell how many number of records or how many number of lines are there in the file. That is nr. Then internal field separator means what? From which file you are reading the data, in that which symbol you have used to separate each field, that symbol is representing by internal field separator. Output field separator means what? When you are reading the data and when you are outputting the data, which symbol you are using to separate the fields, that is called output field separator. Then output record separator means when you are receiving the data and when you are outputting the data, each record or each line, which symbol you are using to separate each line or each record of the file, then output, then it is called output record separator. So awk programming language support all the features of the normal programming languages, uh, like variables, looping statement, control statements, etc. Generally, it has two types of variable: predefined and user defined. User defined means usually how we declare variable in other languages, in the same way. No need of specifying the database, sorry, data type. If it is a numeric value, it will be initialized to 0. If it is a string value, it will be initialized to null value. Then predefined means it is defined by the system and it will be always in capital letter. File name predefined variable will give the name of the file. NF will tell the number of fields. NR will tell number of records. IFS will tell internal field separator. OFS will tell the output field separator, and ORS will tell output record separator. Now we'll see the what the we'll see the working of the programming language with an example program. This is the part of your lab exercise. So this is the last program from your part A. That is, the program is read the set of employees details and store in a file. Okay. And once we store that all the employees details in a file, we have to display all the employees in a neat employee details in a neat format. After that, okay, so we have to display. After that, I want to get only the employees details belong to a particular department, and I want to get the employees who are not managers. Okay, so we have a program. In this program, first we will read the employees information and it will stored into a file empty list. Okay, so once we stored all the employees information into the file, we will be displaying all the employees information in a tabular format using awk command. Okay, then after that we want to read only the particular department employees data. That means I am doing further processing of the data. For that I will be using awk as a programming language. And also I want to know the employees who are not managers. So these two tasks are like I want to do further processing of the data, employees data. So for that I will be using awk programming language here. Okay, so we'll see first here, as I explained in the previous program, clear is the beginning. That means it is used to clear the terminal to get only this particular program output on the terminal. Then read how many number of records are there in your file, which means how many number of lines or how many number of employees details you are going to read. Read that number of records into variable n, using is for looping variable, and it has initialized as 1. and I am using while loop to read all the employees details and to store into the file emp list. So the condition always will be looping variable value must be less than or equal to the number of records in the file. Then do indicates it is the beginning of the program, sorry, beginning of the while loop. Then done is indicating it is the end of the while loop. So we have to read employee number into emp number variable and employee name into e name variable, and we have to read department name into dpt variable, then designation of the employee into dest variable. So once we read these values, each employee's these data will be stored into the file called emp list. Make sure that before starting executing this program, make sure that this file should exist. Then only we can read the employee's details and we can store it into this file. So the employee number, employee name, employee department, employee designations are available in these variable. Then store these variable values into the file emp list, and when we are storing these values into the file, each value will be separated by pipe symbol. Each value will be separated by pipe symbol. Okay, so we have read each employee. So once we have done with one employee data, increment the I variable by 1 so that we will be able to read the next employee value as a new record. So each record is indicating each employee data. So read all the employees data and store into the file emp list, and each data will be separated by pipe operator. And as I explained in the previous program, we will be displaying all the employees details in a tabular format. So just to give the title using echo and give the column names as employee number, name, department designation using printf, and again just formatting the output, I am giving this line, and after that we have to fetch all the employees information from the emp list using awk command. So awk command followed by the option here is -f. It is indicating whenever we are reading the data from the emp list, each field or each value is separated by pipe symbol, right? So in order to read each field, we are informing the awk command that each field are separated by pipe symbol. So F indicate what is the symbol you have used for separating the fields in the input file. Again, I am not using any selection criteria. I am just doing the action, that is printing all the content in the file emp list. Okay, what is the action here? Printf. And what all values we are printing here? The $1, which means the first field value, second field value, third field value, and fourth field value from the emp list file. And what is the first field value? That is the employee number. For that, I am reserving 5-digit space. And second field value is employee name. For that, I am reserving 10 character space, and it should be left aligned to indicate that I am giving hyphen. Then $3 is containing employee department name. So for that, I am reserving 15 character space, and it has to be left aligned. For that, we are giving hyphen. Then $4, that is the designation of the employee. For that, we are reserving 10 character space, and hyphen indicate it has to be, when it is displaying, it has to be left aligned. So this particular command will receive all the 4 fields value from the employee list for all the employees, and it will display in the tabular format. Now we want to know the employees belongs to a particular department. So that means we are doing further processing on the data. So for this, we will be using awk as a programming language. So first we are reading which department employees information you want to display. So here read the department into the variable SDEPT. So that read the department name into the variable SDEPT. Now I am going to search the particular employees belong to this department using awk programming language. So I told you it starts with the keyword command name awk. Then I am initializing a variable here. Okay, so this is not the part of the program. Before program, I am initializing the variable SE. SE means it is the department. of which department employees detail you want to know, that a department name we have stored in S department, that is further in turn I am storing into the variable SE. So hyphen V is using for a variable initialization before starting the awk program. Okay. So here I have stored the department name of which you want to get the data into the variable SE using the option hyphen V. Then followed by the option hyphen F, that is indicating when you are reading the data from EMP list, each field is separated by which symbol, that is the pipe symbol. So F indicates the field separator. Now we are going to search the employees who belongs to the department SDEPT. Okay, so for that I told you the programming of programming structure. So within the single quote, it is starting with the begin block. So in the begin block, I want to get the count of the employees. So count I am initializing to 0. So in the begin block, I am initializing the variable count equal to 0. Then it is followed by processing block. So this is the processing block start and this is the ending of the processing block. So what I am doing in the processing block, I am checking if $3 equal to SC. What is $3? $3 means the third field value. What is the third field wall? Third field is department name. It is checking whether the third field in the EMP list file is equal to SC. SC means what? What is the department we want to search? So if the third field is equal to that department, what we are searching, then that particular, so in which record that department is occurring, that particular records first field and second field I want to display. So print the first field and second field, at the same time increment the count value by 1. So in the begin block, I have initialized the count variable equal to 0, and this is the processing block. In the processing block, I am searching if the $3 field value, that is the department value, equal to what is the employee department name we have typed it here. If it is equal to, what we have to do? We have to display the first and second field of the particular what record and increment the count by 1. Okay, then that is the processing block. After that, you have to mention the end block. What is the end block? End block means what? What is the final value you are displaying? So end, and this is the beginning of the end block. This is the ending of the end block. So here the number of employees in percentage S department are. That means whatever department we are storing, that number of departments will be available in the count variable. It will be displayed like this using printf command. And what is the input file we are giving here? EMP list. Okay, so this particular programming will be such the employees belong to a particular department, and it will display only the employee number and employee name. Then we are searching in the same way that employees who are not belonging to managers. Okay, for that again field separator. Then we are checking whether the $4 means that is the designation. If it is not equal to manager, then for that particular record you have to display the first field value and second field value from the file EMP list. So this is the explanation for the last program from your part A, and this is how we are executing. Give all the employee details. First, if using awk command, it will display in the tabular format. After that, it will be displaying the employee. It will ask the employee department HR, and it will display only the employee number and name belong to HR department, and how many are there only belong to HR department, and the employees those who are not managers, like the employee name and number, those who are not managers will be displayed. That's all about the awk command. Thank you for listening.